friends, as you guys can see from the title, today we are doing Pan Those Eyeshadows update. If you are not aware of this series, or if this is your first time coming to this series, I will have all of my rules down in the description box. I also have an intro video that shares everything about why I chose what I chose and how I'm choosing it. So if you're lost in the series and want to catch up, I highly recommend check the intro or just look down in the description box and hopefully you'll be able to decipher my writing and it'll make sense to you guys. So I have my 4 shades here. I have a lot to talk about with you guys. So if you are interested, let's get into it. Alrighty, friends, we're gonna start out with the single. I like to start out with the single and then move on to the palettes that I have in here. So the single that I rolled in last month was my Marc Jacobs Glitter Rock color in the sequence set. This is like this silvery gray. This one I've only used 10 times. And as you guys can see the before and after. Here's what it's looking like here. I've only dipped in the pot 1 time and then I realized whatever's in this lid is enough. Because of the way that you close this one, it closes so tight that this is pressed down on the product, that this is always getting replenished, and this is more than plenty for me to use on both of my eyes. This color I was kind of dreading, to be honest with you, using, because I'm like, I really am not into silver grays as much, but this one surprised me very much. One, the formula is phenomenal. It is phenomenal. If he comes back with these, you bet you I will be buying them. They're just so good. Sophisticated on the eyes. They really stand out, but it's not too much, and I just love how they look on the eyes. This mixing it with all the greens that I used in the month of March, so beautiful. I did not realize how much I love this tone of gray silver with different tones of green. I do like it with burgundies, but I never tested it out with greens, and this month just gave me that opportunity because of the month that it fell in. And I've used this every single time with some sort of green look. Cool toned, warm toned, yellow tone, mustardy tone, whatever tone, it really looked beautiful. It blends in really nicely. It looks really nice on the eyes. I've only used this 10 times, so I have 10 more uses to go before I can roll this out. This is a product I will not hit pan. I will not hit pan in 50 uses. I will not hit pan. It's gonna take a long time because you don't need a lot to put on your eyes. It is beautiful, beautiful. So I am gonna keep this one in. And it has surprised me, but I love that about this project pan because I would have never reached for this on my own unless the occasion called for it, but it allowed me to get out of my comfort zone and try this out and really find a way to enjoy it. This is the next palette we're going to talk about. I rolled this in last month. This is the Sydney Grace World, The Wild Things Grow in the Deep version. We rolled in the shade Primrose. So I'll show you the before and the after. So you guys can see it does have a nice dip going on in here. This shadow, I did reach my 20 uses and I will not be keeping it in to try to hit pan on it. It's not something that I'm going to enjoy using for that reason. I'd rather just reach for it gradually and throughout my life than to have to hit pan on it. The main way I used this palette was as an eyeliner. Beautiful as an eyeliner. Close up, you could see that it was a nice deep colored eyeliner, but from afar, it just looked like I had a nice eyeliner. It didn't look like anything out there. It didn't look too out of place, and it matched with everything that I wore. This deep green just allows it to be a little bit different, and it made my brown eyes stand out a little bit more. I did use it about twice all over the lid and once as an outer V deepening shade, and both times beautiful. This is more of a satin formula, so it allowed me to use it as a matte without it looking too shiny or metallic-y. Beautiful shade, I'm not gonna lie, I really enjoyed it, but it's not something I wanna keep reaching for. I also was able to reach into the palette itself and be able to play around with it, so it also gave me an opportunity to play around with this palette. I really enjoyed it, but as of right now, I will be rolling it out because I did hit my 20 uses. Up next is the Patrick Ta Major Dimension. So we rolled in the shade Opulence, which was a glitter topper. So I'm gonna show you the before and what it is looking like today. As you guys can see, it is, I'm trying to keep this closed. It's right over here. Now, this is a glitter topper and it was beautiful. I'm not gonna lie to you, it's beautiful, but it was kind of getting on my nerves. And let me explain to you guys. This is kind of like a loose glitter topper and I was having a hard time working with it on days that I needed to just get my makeup done. So what I mean is, if I were to use a brush in this shadow, this is way too crumbly that all I was doing was digging and getting product all over the place. So the best way to use this shadow was with my finger. But if I use my finger, I always got fallout all over my face, and then I ended up having glitter all over my cheeks. So it was kind of like a finicky shadow. I did reach my 20 uses, and I considered keeping it into hip pan, but because of the reason that I have to use my finger in order to get product out, and I'm not digging, it's just grazing the top of it to not get too much glitter fallout, it'll take me forever to hit pan. So I'm not going to keep it in. I do like this shadow when you use it occasionally, but to continuously use it over and over and over, it would be such a pain, and I would constantly be annoyed with my makeup each day. So I'm being honest. I don't know if anybody's ever mentioned that before with this palette, but it is gorgeous. It's just, it's not the same kind of glitter topper that Urban Decay has, the Space Cowboy one, for instance. It's not the same. You get a lot of fallout with this one, and a brush just doesn't help. And I'm not about to sit here and wet a shadow because I want it as a topper, not as an all over the lid kind of shadow. So I am rolling this one out, you guys. I'm rolling it out. I got my 20 uses out of it. It looks well loved. And I did get a few more uses out of the mattes in here. I ended up using this shadow, which is beautiful. I will be reaching for this palette again in the summertime, but I don't want to pan it because it's just not going to be fun for me. And last but not least is my Beauty Bay New Mood. This is the second round that it was in. I had rolled in the shade Optimistic. I had a nice dip in it last update, and I had a feeling I was going to hit pan on it. And sure enough, I got a nice pan in here. I ended up using this 16 times in order to hit pan. So that means 6 more uses in order for me to hit pan on it. So I really enjoyed it. It was more of a mixing shadow than anything just because it was so bright, but I was able to get it in the first 6 times I used it, and I was able to just put this palette away. I didn't touch it since, but I'm happy that I have another pan in my life. I'm doing so well overall in my eyeshadows at this point because I didn't expect to have as many pans as I do right now. So anyway, we got our first pan in this project pan, so now we have 7 more to go. Okay, so what does that mean? We are going to be rolling out 2 palettes. Actually, no, rolling out 3 palettes. So we have 3 palettes rolling out, and we are keeping our single. So we are rolling in 3 palettes, and then from there we will see what shades we are going to be rolling in. So let's start with the first palette. Natasha Denona Zendo. Goodness gracious, that's going to be tough. All right, palette number 2. ColourPop number 11. That is all singles. And last but not least, Pat McGrath Sublime. Okay. We're doing great with trying to hit pan, you guys. We're doing great. All right, guys, let me go pull all these 3 palettes out, and then we'll see which one we will be using. Okay, you guys, we have our palettes out. So the first one that I pulled out was the Zendo palette. I don't want to blind you guys with the reflection. So here's what this one is looking like. I'm actually happy that I'm getting more use out of it. I meant to pull this one out for the month of March. Completely forgot about it. So that's a good thing. So let's see. We have 15 shades, right? I already put the 15 in here. So let's see what number. 3. And as you guys know, this year we're going down. So 1, 2, 3, we're doing this shade right here called Scents. It's actually a pretty shade. I'm actually going to enjoy this one. So here is our Marc Jacobs shade in Glitter Rock. And then this one is called Scents. Kind of liking that one. All right. Not bad. All right, so the next one we pulled out was this one. This is the ColourPop number 11 in the letter K. So here we go. We have had this one already in this project pan. Not this year, but we have had it twice already. 2 years in a row. Okay, so let's see. $20. Since we're going down, let's see. So we have 4, 8, 12, 20. Oh, I've already had this one in here. I'm going to re-roll because I already had this one in this project pan and I want to give another one an opportunity. So I don't want to do 20 because I already did that shadow previously and I really don't want to. Like, I know that's not a rule that I have, but I just don't want to work on it again, knowing that I have 23 other options in this palette to play with. So I'm doing this. Okay, number 4. I could do number 4. So that's this one down here. Some of you guys may hate my old thing, but I just don't want to work on the same palette in the same shade that I did already. Like, it's not fair. So this one's Tea Garden. Oh, I never worked on this one before. And it just gives me the opportunity, since this palette has already been in this project pan 2 times. Out of the hundreds of palettes I have, this has already been in here twice. So that is Tea Garden right there. I'm sorry, Pinky Promise. This one was Pinky Promise. You guys, I can tell you. I'll look back, but I'm almost positive that one has been in this project pan already. Last but not least was the Pat McGrath Sublime. Now there's 2 Sublime palettes that I have. I have this one and then the large Sublime. Obviously in my notes, Sublime large would be the mothership one. This is the smaller one. So again, this one I also worked in this project pan. So the first year I did pan those eyeshadows, I worked on this shade. So if I get this shade, I'm not doing it again because I have 4 other shades that I can work on. So let's hope that I don't get that shade. I'm just trying to give everyone a fair shot. So I know some of you guys may not like that, but I'm doing the best that I can with what I'm working with. Okay, number 1, which is this shadow right here called Sinful. Never been used. Okay. We have a completely all shimmer color story this time around. Wow. Okay, you guys, so here is our color story. So I can guarantee you that this one's going to be out. So the top one, 10 more uses, should be gone. I am going to have fun with these. I'm not going to lie to you. These are going to be a lot of fun to work with and play around with. Like, I feel like if I put Tea Garden on top of this shade in Zendo, it'll be a lot of fun. So I'm actually enjoying this. And it's funny because out of all the hundreds of palettes, I have yet to roll in certain ones, and yet these 2 have already been in this project pan previously in previous years. And then on top of that, I get the same shadow in here. Like, can't win the lottery, but I can win that. I don't understand that. So I hope you guys aren't upset with that little slight change that I did, but I feel like it's for the best. I don't want to work on a shadow that I worked on even though I had so many other options to work on. It's just give other shades a chance. That's my goal here, is to give myself and shadows other chances, as well as getting me out of my comfort zone. I've never used this shade. I've heard many great things about Tea Garden. Never used it. So here's my shot. Here's my shot. For the month of April, it's kind of weird to have this color combo. This one's more like your green silver, which is funny because that's what this one has been doing for me. Whenever I mix this one with greens, it kind of looks like this. So as soon as I'm done with this one, I'll continue the trend over here, which I'm not mad at. But I feel like this one will work between these 2. I don't know what I'm going to roll out, you guys. I really don't know what I'm going to gravitate towards. I love this shade, but I know this might be a little bit too warm toned for me right now. But I think I'll be working more on these. I actually really, really like this color story this month. I'm digging it. I'm digging it. All right, you guys, that's all that I have for you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. More videos on the screen for you, German. Until then.